Hey, Larry here, and today I'm going to do a little bit of different kind of review. I'm going to do a kind of pin hangout, talk about the pins that I have carrying, and I'm going to show you how they write and how they compare against each other in writing, and let you see what I've carried for a while. I've had, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, around 16-ish pins out of 24 left. So I thought today would be a great day to, for the very first time for me, just to talk a little bit about each pin, about the nib, and then do a little writing and compare that nib against a different brand of nib, different size of nib, so you can get an idea in the future if you're interested in that type of pen, that type of nib, that type of ink. So I said, why not? Let's go ahead and do that. It'll be fun just to interact with the pens, right? So, pen talk. Here we go. The first pen I want to bring in is the Parker Sonnet, a beautiful fountain pen. Stunning nib, 18K gold nib with a medium nib. Really a beautiful pen. Love the colors on the pen, love the weight on the pen. It's a snap-on and off cap. It does post securely. So, and it does have a converter in it. So here is the first one. Parker. I was reading a message. Sorry about that. Really a lovely writer, and it lays down the ink, and very wet. And look how wet that nib is. And just to show you, the paper I'm using is SN2 pad, the perfect paper for both smooth nibs and sharp nibs. This is a dot ruling, and it's a 5x8. Okay. And then we'll compare it with another pen. Here is the Parker Frontier, another one of my favorites. This is a sharper little pen, just with the black and the chrome cap, beautiful clip. It's just, to me, just a really nice, settled looking fountain pen. And it's vintage. And I would have to look up the ink. Alright, the ink is Parker. Blank. Blue. And a little wet test. Again, nice and wet. It finally has dried up here, so that's the ink. Now the writing. Steel nib, And here's a vintage Parker 21 with a medium hooded nib. And let's put this one down. And let me get the ink here in a minute. Parker 21 with a medium steel nib. And the ink Blackstone. Very nice ink. Blackstone is one of my favorites. And we'll do a little wet test here for you. And of course, nice wet nib, smooth nib. So far all three nibs have been smooth and wet, as you can see. A little bit of writing. So let's try to keep this off with the steel nib. Let's go ahead and go with the different brand of pens. Okay, here is the Sheaffer vintage. It's Prelude. It has a medium steel nib, snap on and off cap. And this really is a stunning fountain pen to me, with the matte finish on it and the gold hardware on the pen. A nice size pen, not a big pen, but still a very nice, decent writer. Now, the ink may run out really soon because it's almost out of ink, but I just wanted to share this with you and do a little bit of writing, if so. And this was the vintage as well, the Frontier and the Parker 21. And the Parker Sonic was old new stock. This is really a nice pen with a medium steel nib, a nice nib. And then the ink I'm using is Sheaffer Black. And a little wet test there. As you can see, nice and wet. Okay, nice and wet. So nice nib, medium nib, steel nib. So now we have the Sheaffer and we have the Parker. Let's just for a minute do this with the downstroke and then the cross stroke. And the S is for Sheaffer. Okay, let's compare some of the nibs against the Parker. Here's the Parker, and here against the Sheaffer. Really not a whole lot of difference on line variation. Maybe the Sheaffer may have a little bit more width in their cross stroke than the Parker. Alright, our next one, we're going to move up class a little bit. And we're going to go into Italian pen next and see how she flows here. And for those who aren't familiar, this is going to be the Aurora fountain pen. So this is the Aurora Italian made pen, the Aurora Optima. It's got a 14K gold medium nib. Beautiful resin with really nice gold trimming to give it a really nice, beautiful, elegant touch. Aurora speaks for itself as well. It does post. So let's go ahead and do the Aurora. And we'll do a little wet test on it. Lays down that ink and nice and wet nib. And the ink I'm using is really a really nice ink. The Robert Oyster Soda Pop. Blue. So let me do this with this one as well, with a downstroke and a cross stroke. And this is the Aurora. And then we shall bring out the Parker fountain pen and put down a downstroke and a cross stroke. And they're about the same as far as width. So let's look at the nibs. Now you got an Aurora and a Parker Sonic. Look how huge this nib is on the Aurora compared to the Parker Sonic. But just because the nib is smaller than this Aurora doesn't mean that it doesn't write as well as the Aurora. They both write extremely well. Parker makes an excellent fountain pen. And so does Aurora. Very nice. Now let's go to the Heinz, which I call the Paladin pen. I named that after Paladin. Half gun roll travel. It's a medium steel nib, and the ink in it is Blackstone. Black Stump. Another of my favorite black inks and brands. And we'll do a little wet test, and the pen I know is wet. There you go, and wet, just like I like it. So, how does this nib compare to a gold nib? I put a J for that. That's for Jim Heinz. Well, let's see. Here's a gold nib, the Aurora. And we'll go back to the Parker Sonic. Parker. So, They both write beautiful. So let's do this with the steel nib. We're going to put down a little pressure and see what kind of variation we're going to get here. And you don't get a whole lot with the steel nib. Compared to the Aurora Go, and that's with pressure. So all 4 lines are with pressure, not without pressure. And then I'll do one with the Sonic Parker with pressure. And that tend to railroad a little bit, but that's my fault going too fast. And it is almost out of ink, my friends, because as they get low ink, I don't want to ink it up because I need to rotate my pens. So this is the Parker Sonic 18K on nib. So let's come back and do the Aurora. And this is with pressure. So there you have it. The Parker Sonic had a little bit more bounce than the Aurora did, in my opinion. That's how I rated it. But does it make any one of them better than the other? No, to me it doesn't. They both are smooth. They both have great ink flow. They both write very nicely. And both are deserving pens to have in any collection. So the only difference between the steel nib on the Paladin, it doesn't have a bounce to it at all, really, and not really any line variation to speak of. Next, platinum time coming up, and let me get this platinum ready to go. Curadox coming up. Here's one. Alright, one of my other favorite pens. And I don't know if you ever heard of Frank from Federalist Pens, but the guy is really a nice guy. Super nice guy. Really just friendly right at the bat. And he has a really nice shop online, so you might want to give him a little look-see and see if there's anything you want to grab. Here we go. All right. And this is a medium nib from Japan. Now we're talking about a Japanese nib. And the ink I'm using, Robert Oyster. Another of my favorite brands by Mr. Robert. And this is Frankly Green Yes, named after Frank from Federalist Pens. If you have kept up with my videos, you know that all about Frank. Because check out the video, it'll tell a little story about Frank and Robert Worcester marriage together. And a little wetness. It does lay down the ink, and it's wet. Not really wet, but it does have some wetness to it. It's got a nice smooth nib, a bit of wetness. It does lay down the ink very well. So here's with no pressure, downstroke, and cross stroke. And what I like to do is bring the Parker Frontier down just to show you. Here's a Parker Frontier and no pressure. It's a Japanese nib. Okay, this is the Parker nib. And here's another little platinum. It's called the
Procyon.
A nice, beautiful pen. Very, very affordable. And I believe Mr. Frank at Federalist Pens has these available. Are they worth the money? I think so. If you're on a budget, right in that alley. I do love that beautiful blue matte look it has to it. Just really a gorgeous fountain pen. And again, platinum. So let's go ahead and turn the page. Well, we're going to do a side-by-side comparison. How's that? Okay, and the platinum Procyon or Procyon, however you pronounce it, the word. Apologize for abusing it and butchering it. It is what it is. Lovely pen. Just really a nice, beautiful, to me, pleasant looking fountain pen. Feels great in the hand. Writes extremely well. Very affordable. Nice color. Like that matte finish to me. What it looks like is a beautiful, well-made, well-crafted Japanese fountain pen from Japan. Platinum doesn't get enough love. You know, there's two pens that really don't get enough love, is the Parker fountain pen and the Platinum line of fountain pens. Both pens are really some really nice fountain pens. Why are they not as popular, I'd say, as the Pilot or the Kaweco or Lamy? I don't have the answer. You know, I don't understand what makes one pen better than the other than the nib. The nib is the heart of the pen. If you have a dull, sharp, dry nib, to me that's really a boring experience. But both have really very nice nibs. Now this one is unscrews again. This has a lot of pluses, this pen, and for the amount of money we're speaking, it's clip, unscrews, post. Let's even open this up a little bit for platinum here, and it comes with a cartridge. You can buy a converter for it, and this has the dark violet. And I found the ink to be interesting as well, and I'll talk a little bit about it. All right. Hope you all enjoyed the Pen Talk, Pen Hangout. I think it's kind of cool. This way I can share with you the pens I'm using on hand and the inks, and let you know what I think about the pens and the inks. Here we go. Look at that. Excellent writer. And this has a medium steel nib. And the ink is dark violet, and let's do a little wet test on it. And you know, it's not very wet, the nib, but I'm thinking the reason why is the ink isn't very wet, but it's a really nice ink, a really nice nib. I've hadn't had no bad starts with it. Got some really good ink flow with it. That's not a problem. I wouldn't do anything to make it any different. So, a little bit of writing, then I'll talk a little bit about the ink. Downstroke, no pressure. Cross stroke. So, there's that. When I first used this ink, it did nothing for me. Because, you know, I like inks that pop. To me, it was a boring, to be honest with you, boring ink. It was just there. But after I used this ink for a while, it kind of grew on me, because to me the ink looked like a number 2 pencil. That you know, that's as close as I can describe how it looks in my mind. So, yeah, do I like the ink? Yes, I certainly do now. But at first, just to be truthful with you, just didn't do much for me. The pen does, very nice pen, but the ink, no, until now. Okay, as we move along. We're going to go with this little fella next to Wherever. So let me get ready for that. Alright, here we go. And this is a screw off with a bag filler. Nice looking fountain pen. It does post nice and securely. And I would put a V for vintage. It's an oldie but goodie. And you have a medium steel nib. Okay. And the ink I'm going to be using with this one is Private Reserve. And this is the blue suede. And little wet test. And it's not wet at all. But it writes very nice on paper. Downstroke, cross stroke. Let's check the wet again. And you got a little bit of wetness. There it goes. So, why wasn't it wet before? Maybe because there wasn't enough ink down yet on the feet. But as you can see, when you write with it, it does lay down the ink and it's wet. But when you put that little ink down, it's not wet hardly or at all. But it does deliver. It is a worthy fountain pen, at least I think so. I enjoy the pen. I enjoy using the pen myself. So, now we need to go and look at this little jewel right there, my friends. So I'll get ready for this one. And we're looking at the Twisby Special Edition white piston filler. Really a nice fountain pen. You got your chrome hardware on there. Not flashy. I do like the logo on top of the finial for the Twisby. That's kind of cool looking. So it's a screw-on, screw-off cap. And it does fit on securely, but you want to be careful because it's a piston filler. So can you use it without posting it? Yes, you can. And I do like the ink window that they came out to us with this pen. Really sweet. So let's see how she delivers. This is a fine nib. Special edition. And this is a fine nib. So again, the ink I'll be using is Blackstone. Blackstone Berry Reef Blue. Beautiful ink. I really like it. And let's just do a wet test while we're here. It does lay down the ink, and it's not all that wet. So let's do a little bit of writing. And you have a little bit of wetness. So let's just do a little bit of swirl, and you get a little bit of wetness. Not a whole lot, but now it'll be wetter. Look at that. And the more you write with it or lay it down, it will be wetter. So you do have a bit of wetness to it, which I like. I like the pen. I like the nib. Great pen. Great value. Stunning fountain pen. You know, Twisby, you can't go wrong with it. Right? Okay. So next is Sheaffer. This is the ladies' Sheaffer fountain pen. It's got that brushed ivory look with a 14K gold nib on it. Beautiful fountain pen. Pull-off cap, and it does post. And it has a cartridge in it. I'm using the diamine, so let's get to writing here with that. And just let you get the cartridge there. Just put that right down here, and we'll get to writing. Okay, correction on the ink. I apologize 1000%. It's the Waterman Mysterious Blue. I got to looking at it. I said, no, that's not diamine. And we'll do a little wet there. And it's not very wet at all yet. And you got a little bit of wetness. You got a nice nib. It's a cool little fountain pen. Do I think the gold nib is great? I would, on a 1 to 10, making 10 be the highest you can get, I would give the the nib about a 6. It does write nicely. And there's a little bit more wetness. So why do I just give the nib a 6? Well, to be honest with you, I'm still using the pen and getting to know the pen. So I'm going to change out the inks in this pen very soon, and with a much wetter ink, and see how she performs. But for right now, a 6 on the nib, which isn't bad. But I expect more out of my gold nibs. But as far as appearance and looks and feel and the way it handles, I'd give it a 10. Very nice Sheaffer. So do I have any regrets on buying the pen? None whatsoever. Now, let's go to Germany with the Schneider fountain pen. This is really a cool fountain pen. A friend of mine sent it to me, Jean. Right there. I do love the pattern on the pen, and you can find these pens. Oh, they're below $10. I don't know, $8. Well worth the dollars. You know what's cool about this pen is look at that clip. Big old colossal clip, but the way that clip kind of folds over the top of the finial on the cap, that's an interesting shape there. It's just an interesting big clip. Pull off cap, and it does post securely, not going nowhere. For those who like to post, you got a small nib, but a cool little nib. So let's get to writing with this pen. And the ink and a little wetness, and it does have a little touch of wetness to it. This is no pressure, and here's with pressure. So yeah, you do get a different line variation. So let's go ahead and do it again. No pressure. Now let's do it with some pressure. There you are. A nice fountain pen. It's comfortable. It has some good ink flow. So, you know, if you're looking for affordability and you want a decent writer, something that, you know, you'll be happy with, I would say there's nothing wrong with the Schneider right here. For me, I like it, and I've used it. I've already inked it up. This is my second time. I already used the first cartridge in it that came with the Schneider blue ink, so I just added the Noodler's Bay State Blue, one of my favorite all inks. Now, let's talk about the Platinum. And I just reviewed this pen. The pen is stunning to me. So why it's so stunning to me? I do like the white color with the black trim on it. I like the clip, and it's shaped to me like the head of a snake. It looks pretty cool. Pull off cap, and it does post securely with the pop. You have a nice grip, rubber section grip, and you unscrew the barrel. It's a metal pen. It comes with a converter. I'm sorry, with the cartridge. So let's see again how she is writing, and I will do it on Post-it. Here we go. And this is a medium nib, and the ink is platinum black. And we'll do a little wet test. As you see, nice and wet. Nice and wet. I already did a review on this pen. And I did the review on Tomo River papers, and I think I did another review on it with some other different papers. But I get the results time after time. This pen has great ink flow, smooth nib, wet nib, affordable. Highly recommend this pen. So, when I did the review, I did say that I was going to try to find out where the pens are made. So I did contact the seller. The pens are made in China, but the offices are located in London still. Great fountain pen. Really, I'm totally impressed. They only come with a medium nib, but various colors. Nice blue, green, red, I think orange, yellow. They got the cool colors. On eBay, you can pick this up for $17.99. But if you go to the site, I think they're like $22. Either way, you're getting a great pen. The Pilot Metropolitan runs about $20, Japanese pen, which is another great fountain pen. So, you know, any one of the two would make great fountain pens, but this one needs the love. To me, just a really nice writer. I love the design. I love the feel, the weight of the pen, the clip. I mean, it looks to me, when I first saw it, like a snake head. The nib, the most important part of a fountain pen, delivered. And to be honest with you, I was stunned. I wasn't expecting the nib to write like it did. Smooth, wet, consistent. It was on the mark. Okay, this is a great everyday pen to use. Now, our last pen of the day and let me just look up some information if you don't mind. Today has been a beautiful day out here in Fort Worth, Texas, say for sure. And right now it's 96 degrees, sunny. Cubby's doing pretty well. He's right now up and walking around. So sometimes when Cubby is just laying on the floor, he tries to get up, but those back legs just don't work. So you have to kind of help Cubby stand up to let him go get his momentum there, and then he'll start going. So his appetite has been good. That's a plus. Drinking water has been good. That's a plus. So we're doing all we can humanly possible for our family member, Kabish. So here we go. Jim Hines fountain pen. This is the Nebula. Beautiful fountain pen. Look at this beautiful resin. The blue and orange swirl all through the fountain pen. This is a really beautiful fountain pen. And then it has the jewel on top. Some people may like the jewel, some may not. And it does not much form, but it's there. But the fountain pen itself is stunning. I do like the clip. Screw on enough cap. And it does come with the converter Jim provides. It's got a nice side section on the pen. It's got a nice feel to it. And the nib is a 1.1 stub nib, number 6. Now Jim does the, I'm going to say, coloring of the nib. That probably is the improper words to use, but Jim now is able to color the nibs blue, green, red. So let's see how the Nebula writes with the stub. Okay. And the ink, another favorite of mine. And wetness, well, it does lay down the ink, that's for sure. Wet, smooth nib. Downstroke, cross stroke. You get a wider line when you do the downstroke and a thinner line when you do the cross stroke. So let's go ahead and do downstroke, cross stroke, downstroke, cross stroke, and we'll do some comparisons. Let's do a fine nib. This is the fine nib. Look at the difference. You can tell that's a fine nib. Let's do the medium nib. You know, it was said it's a medium nib, but I'm thinking it more of a fine nib. And, it does. They did say it's a medium, but you can see the difference. Anyway, this is a stub, so you're going to have a totally different line when it goes down or sideways. So let's just do the Schneider. There's the medium, and there's the cross. So again, this is a stub, 1.1. And then when you go 1.5, it'll get even wider. They have 1.9s. I mean, it's crazy. They have oblique nibs, oblique medium nibs, oblique broad nibs. They have broad nibs, double broad nibs, and it goes on and on and on. So, well, I think I'm done. And I don't know about you guys. I had fun hanging out with my pen, the inks, talking a little bit about them. If I was asked which would be my best pen in the bunch, again, as always, I wouldn't have an answer for you. Again, this Platigman, how you say it?
Platigman.
Just got me baffled. It really does. I mean, if any pens that I've shown you, this pen, for some reason, it just, the way it writes, I mean, I really just love the pen. It's a cool pen. So, you know, I'll put it in there with my collection, and I'll keep this pen. And, you know, I'm glad I tried this pen. It took me a while, over a year, maybe 2, to make that decision. Do I try it or not? Well, that's going to wrap it up, my friends. So, oh, remember before I go, tomorrow is the 10th, right? Right. So what happens on June the 10th here on Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews? Well, first of all, it's going to be, we'll name the winner of the ballpoint giveaway, because tomorrow is going to be National Ballpoint Day, right? And the pen I'll be giving away, beautiful, stunning pen from Federalist Pen. So I'll be purchasing the pen from Frank at Federalist Pen, and he will be mailing the winner this beautiful ballpoint pen. So all you have to do first is, of course, live in the United States, subscribe to the channel, shoot me an email back. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I have Facebook. I have two groups there, the Pen Pal group and the Fountain Pen group on there as well. And then my YouTube channel. So, but shoot me a message. Let me know that you're in for that ballpoint giveaway tomorrow. Now, I believe tomorrow around, 3 o'clock maybe, right in there, we're going to go ahead and announce it, because I want to try to get the pen out. Tomorrow's Wednesday? Yep, Thursday. I want to try to get it out on Thursday. That's going to do it, my friends. Don't forget the ballpoint giveaway. National Ballpoint Pen Day is tomorrow on the 10th of June. And that's going to be about all I'm going to do today. I don't know about you guys. I had a good time just hanging out with my pens, sharing the pens with you, the nibs, the inks on the paper, just talking a little bit about the different nibs. So I hope you got something out of it. If you're a pen enthusiast, I'm sure you did, because that's what we do. We talk about our beloved fountain pens. Peace, love, wash them hands, and as always, woo, don't text and drive. You the star. You rock. Peace out. Later.